And welcome to the Marketing Impact Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Wood, as always, here with Cahill Camden from Press Jockey. Cahill, how are you doing?
I'm good, Mike. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, we had a great pregame before we got on the show here, discussing a little bit about AI, a little bit about Press Jockey, which we're going to get into here in a minute for media outreach. For those who haven't checked it out yet, it's mind blowing to me, which is why we had you on the show. But before we get into anything, let's talk more about you. Tell people who you are, what you're doing.
Cool. So, as you did introduce me, I'm the founder and CEO at Press Jockey. And so we'll get into it in a minute, but what Press Jockey does is it aggregates thousands of press requests from around the web, filters them for you, sorts them for you, and then using AI technology allows you to quickly create responses, get over that writer's block, and get more press exposure. So you save like 90% of your effort, you get 5, 6, 7 times more exposure. So that's what I'm currently focused on, but it actually evolved from my agency. So I started out in the agency world. I have an agency called Digital Vision Media Group, and we focus on Web3 marketing. So I do fractional CMO work. We do PR, we do paid media and content creation, which again with AI will probably be gone pretty quickly. But that's where this whole thing has come from. And so I've helped a number of clients get acquired, built their marketing strategies from the ground up, and our agency did quite a bit of the work, obviously. And so that's my background. And so from that came Press Jockey.
Perfect. And I tell you, like I told you before we got on here, not many tools have impressed me as of late, but this is one. This is why I cold emailed you, because I'm like, yo, man, I gotta talk about this. This is something that excites me. So let's talk about media outreach for a minute. I still get the emails, should I still do media outreach? And of course, one of my main focuses is Wikipedia. And when people reach out to me for Wikipedia, the majority of them just don't qualify. They don't have the press coverage needed. And so they say, should I even focus on media outreach? Do I go with a PR agent or whatever? And I keep giving them the same advice, which is what I'm going to be going through here. Yeah, obviously it is important, but you need to focus on getting it. Even if you can only get some quotes here and there, it can kind of build you as an expert over time. Maybe in a year you'll have enough for Wikipedia, maybe 10 years. That's all going to depend on the level of outreach. But you obviously still see it as important with Press Jockey. So can you tell people listening, watching, why they still want to go with media outreach?
Yeah, sure. So I think it's important to break down first the different types of media outreach. So if we can just split them into two. So when you're talking about press, let's say press covers everything from podcasts, TV, newspapers, magazines, bloggers, YouTube. It covers all of that. Okay, so when we say press, we'll just say it's all of that. All right, there's two types of ways to really get it. Both considered earned media. So you're earning your place in the media. They want to talk to you. So one way, which is what a lot of people do, and it is super powerful, you've got a lot of control, but it costs quite a bit of money, is the agency route. So that's the outbound, the outreach. So you build an awesome story, you build pitch angles, you build your Rolodex, you build your targets, and you reach out to the media and you say, hey, we've got a CEO, or I'm a CEO, or I'm a CTO, or a female founder, whatever it might be. I've got this story all about X, Y, and Z. Do you want to chat with me? Or do you want to interview me? So that's outbound. That works very well, but it is costly. Then you've got the inbound side of press, which a lot of people don't really talk about. So the inbound side of press is when you do something like respond to the media who's looking for experts to speak to for their articles. So they're doing a story, they're talking about a specific thing, and you respond to them and you say, hey, I'm an expert in this area. I can actually give you some insights here. So that's the inbound side of press. So we're focused on that. And so to your point, Mike, is press a valuable tool? Absolutely. Like 100% it is valuable. We've seen for some of our clients, when you put those ads featured in and you have the links, et cetera, we've seen conversion rates jump up 50%, 60%. we've seen people get more press. So obviously when you get some press, you have social proof, and then more press wants to have you because you've already been featured in a magazine, you've all been quoted already, you've already been on a podcast. It builds your awareness in front of different audiences. So you will get exposed to new audiences and to your target audience if that's what you're trying to do. So that brings you traffic, which brings you more sales. There's like a whole whack of things that press helps you with. So yeah, I do recommend it for businesses, depending on what stage they're at.
Yeah, and it really doesn't matter what business you're in either. There's a lot of people out there probably thinking, well, I'm just a real estate agent. I'm not an expert at anything. I'm a doctor. I just graduated from med school. I haven't been, practicing medicine for 10 years. That doesn't matter, especially when you're talking about inbound media. Now, on a quick side note, I got a great graph about earned media that talks about the difference between earned media, paid media, that I'm gonna put a link to in the comment section down below for those of you watching or listening. But inbound media is really great because it's easy. I don't want to call it low hanging fruit, but it's something that everybody can do. Like when you're doing outbound, you really do need to be an expert in your field, because they have people reaching out to them a lot saying, hey, I've got a great story. I've been a surgeon for 15 years and I've got this new type of, tool that I'm using that's going to help. And you're pitching this and trying to convince the media to do it. Inbound is real easy. Inbound is like, do I have any volunteers? I need,
yeah, exactly.
I need real estate agents who can talk about X, Y, and Z. And if you're able to pick these inbound pitches up and say, well, I'm a real estate agent, I can give you expertise on that. Or sometimes they just look for quote, like, what's the housing market? Do you feel that, and I'm just using real estate agents as a side here, but you can say, what's the market like? Do you feel that we're in a bubble? Do you feel that people are buying fewer homes because of interest rates or whatever it is? And you can go on and do these quotes, send them your quotes and get picked up. It's been powerful for me. I've got dozens of these over the years where I've gone in, been quoted in things, Business Insider, International, all these presses and publication. And you're getting backlinks as well for those who are in the SEO game. You're getting links to your sites from huge publications. And imagine you're trying to pitch Business Insider all day long for a backlink. They're not going to respond. But you end up responding to them, helping them out, giving them a quote. You're getting a backlink. You're getting the social proof. You're branding yourself. You're getting all these benefits of digital marketing all into one. So it is important. So where do we go? And again, I'm going to get into Press Jockey for a minute because we could probably end this podcast right with Press Jockey. But I want to give people some background on where to get this inbound press. So where do we go for the inbound press?
So there are a number of platforms out there, free to paid. And so I think one of the most popular ones, I think Tim Ferriss talked about it way back in the day in the 4-Hour Workweek. It's a platform called HARO, Help a Reporter Out. So that platform, you can sign up for free. They've got a paid account as well. Great platform. Lots and lots of people go there. So that's a platform. You can also find inbound requests on Twitter. Journalists, the media uses Twitter all the time to post, hey, I'm doing an article. It's Tuesday. I need someone for tomorrow. Do you have insights on real estate or e-commerce or health or beauty, whatever it might be? So there's Twitter. And then there's a number of other platforms that are out there depending on your location in the world and, depending on what you're looking for. And so you can actually sign up to multiple platforms to get different press requests from all around the world. And Press Jockey aggregates all that data into one spot so that it's just super easy for you to manage and work with. And we filter it for you so that it's just, you're not spending so much time trolling through and crawling through emails and requests and oh my gosh. And so again, I'm coming from it from an agency perspective. We did that. That's why we built this platform, is because we understand that press is valuable. Like you said, SEO, exposure, audiences, conversion rates. And then there's all the ancillary benefits of press that we haven't even talked about. you're trying to raise money, you're trying to partner with another client or with another company. You've been featured in media, like, there's all sorts of benefits that you can leverage press for. And so we understand that that's powerful, and we were doing this all manually and said, oh, there's got to be a better way. And so we built this tool.
Yeah, absolutely. I help a reporter out. HARO is probably one of the oldest, most used, and good thing is it's from Sison, which is a press release distribution agency, but it's become so big and so integrated. I feel HARO, and I don't want to badmouth HARO because I still use the platform. I think it's a great platform. I just think the quality's gone down through the years because I think there's been a lot of spammers, a lot of people trying to take advantage of this, and you've had a lot of big publications pull out and go to other places like Quoted or I think Source Bottle is another one where so some of the higher end publications are like, okay, we're sick of receiving this low quality pitches, which reminds me, if you're going to pitch these agencies, make sure it's a quality pitch, which is something we're going to talk about here in a little bit too. Make sure it's something they want to see, offering them value, not like, hey, I want to be quoted so I can be an expert. You have to offer them value on how you can help them out, because they're not looking to help you out. They're going to help you out as a benefit, but you're helping them out, and you have to come at them as if you're helping them out. Like, you may do 100 quotes for 100 different publications and maybe only get featured in 2. Don't be bad. You're there helping them out. If they want to use it, they use it. If they don't, they don't. So,
yeah. And Mike, if I could jump in just really quickly, that 100 to 2, I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize. Think, oh, I sent out 100 quotes, I'm going to get featured 80 times. Like, no, you're not. It really is a numbers game. But to your point, you get featured twice, and those publications are your target audience publications, or expose you to a new audience, or it's on a big publication that's worth thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yes.
And so it's like, okay, so getting featured twice in a month or 2 months, if either of those features are worth, on a low end, when you look at CPM rates, so it's advertising term for cost per 1,000 impressions. When you look at that and you say, oh, okay, I was featured on a blog that it's worth $2,000, and I get that once a month. It's like, great, so you got $4,000 worth of free exposure for pitching 80 times. Like, and if you have a tool that helps you speed that process up, it's like, oh, that's a no-brainer. Like, of course I would want to do that.
Correct. Like, so for my digital marketing plan, I set aside a specific amount of hours every week for press. This is for if I'm doing press releases, if I'm going to do outreach, anything that I'm doing for this. And again, we're going to get Press Jockey for a minute. It's just going to blow everybody's digital marketing plan up. They're like, everyone that's spending 4, 5, 6 hours a week, you're going to be done with that. But like, I still get these, and you are going to love these. If you haven't gotten quoted yet in the media, you're going to go out after this podcast and you're going to do it. Trust me, it's going to be worth it. You're going to get that one email eventually. And I loved getting my first one that said, hey, I saw you in International Business Times. Can you help me with XYZ? I'm like, yeah, well, that was cool to have that. It's like Google advertising, only there's no pay-per-click. There's no cost. It's an ad that's constantly running. And anytime somebody goes to International Business Times now, and I just bringing that up as one of many, but anytime they go there, I'm getting impressions all day long that I'm not paying for. I'm not paying for an impression. Absolutely. I'm not paying for a click. And I'm not going to tell you how much money I generate from those, but it is a good amount to have people say, okay, we're looking for a specific expert in Wikipedia. There's not that many quote unquote experts at Wikipedia who have been quoted in these publications. I have been one of them. So it brings a lot of people to me where I'm able to answer their questions, do consultations, point them in the right direction on what they need to do if they want to do it. So it's been great. So a little overview about how these platforms work. And I mean, you can cover HARO. I want to cover another one, Turkle, which has been pretty great for me. And every platform is a little bit different. Like Turkle, I've gotten pretty good responses. I've gotten like 60% acceptance rate over the last month, which is just phenomenal. But you go on to this website, and I'm going to include a link to all these in the in the bottom here for in the show notes. But so Turkle, you go there and they'll have like one-liners that say, we need a quote about how AI is going to affect copywriting. That's just an example. And then you can say quote, and then you can put your, 1, 2, 3 sentences or whatever you are and hit send. And then the reporter for that publication can go and they'll look at all those different quotes and they'll select, I want to use this one, I want to use this one, I want to use this one, I want to use this one. But different platforms are different, such as HARO. HARO, you'll get an email every day. And you may get 5, 6 emails a day from HARO, depending on what you sign up for. One for business quotes, one for biotech, one for health and wellness, one for entertainment. And then you have to read what they're looking for. And then you go in and send an email, or you go back to the platform and go through a specific link. Same thing with Quotage. You've got to go and log in to all these different platforms. So getting that out of the way, you have all these different platforms that you have to go in and manually look up for these inbounds, craft your pitch, and send out. Let's go ahead and get into Press Jockey because I don't want to waste any more time doing this. Tell us specifically, and I know you gave us a little bit of overview, tell us exactly what Press Jockey does. And imagine that I'm sitting here and I'm going to HARO, then I'm logging into Quoted, then I'm logging into SourceBottle, then I'm looking at Turkle, then I'm looking at Twitter. And I've got 4 hours today set aside to look through these pitches. Tell me how Press Jockey is going to change that.
It's a fun process going through all of those platforms.
No.
Reading all those.
No,
right?
Don't lie. Don't lie.
No,
I recommend people do it so they can see how tedious it is. Yeah. But I'm telling you, Press Jockey, I was like, oh, wow, where were you? Yeah. Where were you? I've been looking for you. So
yeah, it's a pretty brutal process to go through all those platforms. And so what we've done is we aggregate a lot of that data into one platform. So you still need to have accounts on those platforms. You can use free accounts. We have aggregated data that some of it's paid, but then you need a paid platform. You need the paid membership on that platform to respond. So like you still need that account, but instead of checking 8 different platforms and going through emails that have sometimes, like you said, HARO sometimes has hundreds of matches in a single email. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden you can have that all filtered for you automatically in one platform. And when you want to respond, if you've got writer's block or if you want to have an assistant help you, we use AI to help respond to that exact press request, that exact quote that people are looking for. You can press a button and our AI assistant, Jamie, will create a response for you. You can edit that response, you can change it, etc. But now we just cleared off 90% of that time that you would have spent checking different platforms, writing responses, hitting send on email, going back and forth, deleting your emails. Well, we just cleared that off for you. So you can save a ton of time. And even if you think about it like this, let's say you're getting paid minimum wage, which my guess is you're probably not getting paid minimum wage, but let's just assume you are. $15 an hour. Okay, you're spending how many hours checking how many platforms every week, and maybe you're paying a virtual assistant or a freelancer to do that for you. Fine. You're still paying them for their time to go through these requests every single day. And all of a sudden you've got a platform that can do it for you at 90% less time and also help you respond with a better response because we've trained it. It saves you a ton of time and money to use something like Press Jockey. So that's what Press Jockey is all about. Aggregates all this data, filters it for you, gives you AI matches and AI response capability so that you can get your message out there better, faster. That's what we're all about.
So one of the most frustrating things to me is when I go through HARO and I look at all the requests. And then I go to Quoted and I see the exact same request. We talked a little bit about this offline. I don't know if you want to discuss it here, but I think it would be good at least drop a hint about what's going on because it's amazing.
Okay, I'll draw some hints. So there's a dirty little secret of the inbound press world, right? So remember, we talked about outbound press, where you're building a pitch, you're targeting the media, podcasts, etc. You're reaching out saying, hey, I've got a story. I'm an expert in X, Y, and Z. Do you want to talk to me? And then you've got the inbound side where the media is saying, hey, can anyone volunteer to help me talk about X, Y, and Z, real estate, e-commerce, AI, it doesn't matter. Okay? So the dirty little secret on the inbound side, and this happens with all the platforms, is duplicates. And so we did some big data processing, and I've got to release a blog post on this. We assessed almost 500,000, so 500,000 press requests over a few month time period. And one of the things that we noticed was that from all the data we pulled from, between, I'll say the conservative estimate is 80% of everything that you are looking at is duplicates. And now that duplicate could be, it's coming from a different person, but it's the exact same pitch. Or the pitch is the exact same for the exact same publication, but it's worded slightly differently. Like maybe the title is different. Mm-hmm. Or it's on a different platform, so it seems like it's a different pitch. So not only are you wasting time scrolling through and trying to figure out, does this pitch match my brand or my client's brand? But you're doing this on duplicates that you've already gone through. And so again, Press Jockey eliminates that because we use algorithmic matching and AI to remove all the duplicates. And so now all of a sudden you get down to the core of what is actually being asked for on multiple platforms, and you can save, again, a ton of time. So you just, like, whether that's you or your VA or your freelancer or your comms team, it doesn't matter who the person is. You know, the point is you're saving a lot of time by not having to go through duplicates.
Yeah, exactly. And then you don't know, okay, I sent the pitch to them. No, I didn't want to do this. And no offense to the media. I mean, they're taking advantage of it. Like I was saying with HARO, you know, some publications don't go there anymore because of the quality of some of the people pitching. So they're going to post it to HARO. They're going to post it to Quoted. They're going to post it to different places, knowing that people use the different platforms and they're looking for the best thing. It's like when you're looking for a freelancer, you're not just going to post it on Upwork. You're going to look at Fiverr. You're going to look at Guru. You're going to look at a couple of these, post it out there, and hopefully you're going to get the best freelancer for the job. And that's the same thing when they're running press. They want the most qualified person to make that quote, and they know they can't just post it on one platform. So they're going to duplicate it. And it's going to get frustrating to you when you're going to these individual ones and you realize that you just spent 2 hours looking through 5 different websites for maybe 10 or 15 unique pitches that you may be interested in. This to me is a game changer, because it's going to take my 6 hours a week spent on media outreach. It's going to pack it down into one. It's going to give me another 5 hours. So,
right. And to your point, again, it's not to knock on the media. Like the media, we got to think about it from their perspective, right? They want to get as much exposure for their articles in terms of experts. We want to, like, if I'm the media, I want to find the best expert for my article. So I'm going to post it on multiple platforms and choose the best person.
Yep.
Fine. Okay, fair enough. But for you as the business owner, the agency owner, the person, the expert who's looking to get exposure, that really sucks for you, because now you're wasting your time going through duplicates on different platforms that are written slightly differently or posted by different profiles or whatever. And like, you're wasting your time. And you've got other things that you can be doing, even if it's just for press. Like, even if you just want to get more press, don't waste your time on the duplicates. Go spend your time reaching out to podcasts or reaching out to other publications or building your story or responding to social media or on communities. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's other things you can do to help get yourself exposure other than trying to filter through duplicate posts on 5 different platforms. Like, it's a big waste of time.
Yeah, correct. And you can even spend that extra time. Let's say you narrow it down, you do 3 or 4, you can do those follow-ups. And media outreach is a little tricky. There's a fine line between follow-up and spam, which, we're not going to get into here, but you can use that extra time to do your outreach. So like, if I send a pitch, I always send a connect note on LinkedIn and just say, hey, I think it's a great story. Here's my info, and leave it at that. I'm not like, hey, I'm like, hey, I just sent you a pitch about your thing on there. Love what you're doing. Think it's a great idea, and leave it. If they want to respond, that's great. If not, then that's fine. It's kind of an extra branding thing. It'll give you that type or that extra time using Press Jockey to be able to do those quick pitches in an hour as opposed to 6 hours. And then you can use another hour to go to Twitter and, repost something, follow something, get your face in front of somebody without standing right in front of them. There's ways to get their attention without spamming and things like that. So I think it's great. I want to share my screen just for a second here. And
while you're pulling that up, I think one of the important things that to remind everyone is you are an expert compared to someone who's not in your industry or someone who doesn't have the same amount of experience as you. And so a lot of people think, oh, well, I don't have 20 years of experience, or I haven't been featured in, 10 publications, or I haven't sold my company yet, or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. Like, you are an expert compared to someone who is just starting out in your industry, or someone who has never had as many clients as you, or someone who doesn't have 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years experience. Like, you're an expert to the person who's just underneath you. And to the media, you're an expert, because the media is focused on content creation or certain types of content creation. They're not an expert in health, biotech, technology, real estate, e-commerce. They don't know. And so you are an expert. And so I do want to encourage everyone to get started. Again, regardless of whether you use like Press Jockey or not, like, get started, because I think we as a society and as a world, just a kind of more esoteric thing, we need more good, true experts to come forth and start to speak about things and share their insight with the media. And the media is like everybody, news, TV, podcasts, etc. And so just get started.
Yeah, and podcasting is a big one.
Huge.
Yeah, I started this. We talked about this. I started my podcast back in 2016. Back when podcasts were really starting to become popular. And I didn't have a ton of viewers, but I had enough. I had to shut it down because I couldn't keep up with the business that podcast generated. And I'll just imagine being guest on podcasts. I'm back to actually being a guest on podcasts and getting lots of press for that. So, I mean, that's a huge one. Don't just think New York Times. The other thing, too, is you don't need to be an expert all the time. Like, this is a HARO pitch. Right. There's a couple things that I'm showing you with this. This is just one of many emails I'll get from HARO. HARO will send me 3 emails a day, and each one is basically a summary of the morning. Like, this is Monday evening edition. This is last night. Then you'll have Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, whatever. But this is biotech healthcare. These are all the pitches, and this shows you the publication here. And if you go down to, let's see here.
And so in each one of those, there's the pitch details.
Yes.
Right. So if you see something that you like, you have to actually then click through and read on the pitch details.
So let's say you want USA Today. You'll go down here, and this gives you everything that they're looking for. So you can see this USA Today wants to know 9 different questions that you need to answer. Now, what's great about this is if you do this on all 3 platforms, not understanding this is the same pitch, you're going to be wasting your time. The other thing, too, is AI generated responses, which are going to give you a lot, because a lot of people are going to look at this pitch and go, oh, Jesus, I'm not going to take 30 minutes to write this out. And maybe they get frustrated. Maybe you're not that great of a writer or whatever. The AI will help you generate at least a template to be able to, make a few changes before you send it on. But this is what you're looking at. Now, imagine the time that I would spend if I went through this all day long. Now, I have to read and say, because if you go to the top, you can read these snippets and think, oh, this would be a good one. I would be good to talk about best barcoding software. But you click on that, and what they're looking for may not exactly be what you know about. You see what I'm saying? So you may go down there and they say, we want specifically a person that knows A, B, and C. and you're like, oh, well, I thought it was. So you're wasting a lot of time manually going through all of these back and forth. And this is just HARO. So when you finish with HARO, now you got to go over to Quoted and do the same thing. Then you've got to go to Twitter and LinkedIn, exactly. And you're using all these, you're using the hashtags. You're trying to do these manual searches. It can be a daunting task. Now, I'll tell people right now, go to HARO, sign up for HARO, get your emails. And then by day 3, you are going to go to Press Jockey and you're going to send an email saying, wow, yeah, you're right. It is a game changer. Because if you spend any amount of time on these sites, you will see how much time and energy this helps you with. It really does. I get stressed going, okay, I've got to spend my 2 hours today going through pitches because I know how daunting the task can be. And it's going to be so easier here with Press Jockey to be able to pull up. You're still looking at a bunch of pitches, don't get me wrong, but you're not looking at 6 different windows open. You're not trying to decide if it's the same one as another platform. Sometimes, and here's the thing too, sometimes I don't have time. Like I'll say, okay, I only have an hour that I can spend on this. I'm going to focus on HARO, or I'm going to focus on, Quoted. Well, maybe I'll miss out on something on HARO. If I go now and say, I'm just going to go to Press Jockey, I'm going to focus an hour on Press Jockey, I've got them all there in one spot. So I don't have to determine, okay, I'm going to use HARO today or Quoted or whatever I'm going to do. I go to Press Jockey and say, well, this is the pitch. Oh, it happens to be on Quoted. So now I can go over there and make my pitch for whatever. So.
And you can save pitches. You can use the AI template. And so now again, you can speed up that process. So, we wanted to make it as easy as possible for everyone to get more exposure.
It's there. It's there. I'm telling you, not many tools excite me. There haven't been many tools, new tools that have come along lately that have made me stop and go, okay, I really want to use this. This is a game changer. So I'm going to include a link down below in the comments and in the show notes. If anyone has any questions about this, feel free to email me. I'll be glad to answer any questions about, media outreach and how to use these. But I'm telling you, the easiest thing is just go right to Press Jockey. It's kind of like when I was teaching people the podcast and they're asking me, what microphone should I get? And I'm like, you can get a dynamic microphone. You can get a condenser mic. It's easier to say, go get a dynamic mic, period. Let's not even discuss anything else. And that's kind of where I am with Press Jockey. I can discuss HARO. I can discuss Quoted. Go to Press Jockey. It's a dynamic mic. Yeah, just go. Forget about everything else. Forget about learning everything. Just go to Press Jockey. Use it. It's just easy. So, any final thoughts or words you want to leave everybody here?
Yeah, I think again, I'm just going to reiterate it. Like, get started. Press takes time, and I think that everyone listening is an expert in their own right, and if you want to start building your media presence, if you want to start generating more marketing activity for your business or your clients, you got to get started. And so I would just encourage everyone to get started. You're going to have to work out the marbles. You're going to have to work out the kinks. Like, it's not going to be perfect. That's okay. Start, like I say this to my clients all the time, start small and scale up from there. Just get started. And so that's what I'd like to leave everyone with. I think we need that. And I'm looking forward to everyone who's listening, getting started and seeing what kind of expertise you can bring to the media.
You have to take the jump. Like Steve Harvey says, you have to jump. Hopefully we can push them a little bit and, they'll see the benefits. So, well, I appreciate you coming on. I really do appreciate you talking about this. For everybody who has questions, the links will be in there. Or you can send email, ask any questions you want, but I'm telling you, go direct to the site. It's going to save you a ton of time. So with that, I thank you for being on today, and hope to have you back on later when we can talk about some new features.
Absolutely, Mike. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, bye-bye.